Hi all, you're watching Chasing Dreams and this is Karthik here. You're watching the 80th episode of Chasing Dreams and I'm very happy to host the show and keep doing it stronger. So it's been 80th episode right now and we have an amazing guest in our show. So I knew it's morning in India, early morning. Uh, yes, so let's just kickstart the show and see how it goes.
It is
Hi
early
Lisa.
morning.
Hi. Morning
How
and
are you?
evening to you.
Yes,
Yes,
thank
I'm
you.
doing good.
Good, good.
How about you?
I'm well. It's just about to be nighttime here. It's just the sun is just setting here in Seattle.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I first of all, thanks a lot for joining our show. We have been
Of
talking
course.
for a long time, and then I think today was the right time to catch up.
Yes. Yeah. Finally worked
Yes,
out.
I was personally in. Yeah, and you are an inspiration to me. So yes, let's just kickstart to the show to introduce Lisa Thompson. She's an Everester. She's the second U.S. woman to summit K2, the second highest peak in the world, and she's an Emmy Award winner for a documentary called uh, Capturing Everest. And then she's a cancer survivor and also a motivational speaker. So you're going to hear the story of Lisa Thompson, and I hope it's a story of grit and determination. So thanks a lot for joining the show, Lisa Thompson.
Thanks for having me. I'm honored to be here this morning.
Thank you, thanks a lot. And then to start off with, how into mountaineering and the adventure sport and all these.
Well, I got started mountaineering really because people told me I couldn't do it. I don't know if
Oh,
you're like me or if the people watching are like me, but the best way to motivate me to do something is to tell me that I can't. And so
high
I found
five.
myself in that. Yeah, for sure. Um, and so I found myself in that situation in 2008 and used that as motivation to start climbing, which is something I knew at the time I knew nothing about. I had no idea what it meant to climb any mountain. And I'm really fortunate living where I do in the US, in Seattle, which is on the West Coast, where there are a lot of mountain ranges. And so I was able to take that spite and motivation and put it to good use and just started climbing small peaks that I could do on my own, and then endeavored a few years later to actually climb Mount Rainier, which is about
Okay.
14,000 feet, a highly glaciated peak here near Seattle. And once that happened, I was pretty hooked at that point. I was
Okay.
pretty like ready to keep going, and it just continued. I continued to keep pushing myself all the way until 2018 when I summited K2, as you said.
Yes, yes, it's one of a monstrous mountain, I would say, and I'm so excited to know the stories of being on Everest and K2, and then lot of things you'll speak about. And then to start off with, you just spoke about your journey, but what were you doing before 2008? Because as you said, you weren't aware of the sport mountaineering and all those. So what was it before life, before
I
entering into
was
mountaineering?
doing nothing. I mean, I was doing a lot of working. I was working on my career. I was really not athletic. Um, didn't train, didn't have a hobby really. I had recently moved to Seattle and was just sort of getting my bearings here and figuring out what this great community is all about. So yeah, I was not even close to being ready to climb a mountain when I endeavored to do so.
Beautiful. Actually, as you said, you weren't training or being fit, and shifting to a sport called mountaineering demands like all parts of your life. I would say it's a lifestyle rather than just training for one mountain. So it would have been a beautiful journey. We would also take you through about all these aspects as well. And right now, I want you to put into a photo session at the moment. Can you go ahead?
A photo session?
Yes.
So share
I
photos?
saw, yes, I show you a photo
Oh,
and then you
yes.
got to
Got it.
tell.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
So
that
the
is
first
this.
picture.
Yeah, that's from the summit of K2. So that was July 22nd, 2018. Um, I know it's summit photos are funny because any of you can use
Yeah.
that because you can't tell it's me, can't tell it's you. Um, so I was at that moment, it had been a very long day of climbing. We had left high camp at about 9 p.m. and got to the summit around 7 in the morning. Um, and I'm not the kind of person that gets um, really celebratory at the top of any mountain because I feel like there's a whole lot of work to do in order to get safely from the summit back to base camp. And so for
Okay.
me, I was feeling relieved. I was quite emotional, very, very emotional, in fact. Standing up there, just, couldn't believe that I had accomplished this amazing thing. But I was also very aware that I had to get back down.
Beautiful. So that's the moment of you thinking about all these at this moment, right?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Beautiful. And then I wanted to take you through a small journey with regards to K2. So K2 being the one of the most dangerous mountains on planet Earth. So how are you mentally prepared? And I knew you would have heard a lot of stories about things happening in K2, and then it can go wrong in just a flick of a time. So how are
Yeah,
you mentally prepared for this?
and that's a really good question because so many people think about the physical stress and challenge of climbing and overlook that it is also a mental and an emotional challenge as well. And so I wanted to be as prepared as possible. I wanted to be prepared physically, prepared mentally, and prepared what I call tactically. So for the mental piece, I had actually started working with a sports psychologist before I climbed Everest. So back in
Okay.
2018, because I recognized that there's this huge, huge mental component to climbing that most people just don't even think about. And so she was very instrumental in helping me understand why I'm climbing, why is it important to me? Because when
Okay.
things get difficult, it's very helpful to be able to go back to your why, whatever that is. If you're, proving to your children that they can do whatever they want, or if you're climbing for, your own personal like satisfaction to prove what you're capable of, whatever it is, whatever the reason is that brings you to that mountain, it's really important that you're clear on what that is. Um, the other thing that I relied heavily on, both on Everest and on K2, was mantras. So my sports psychologist had helped me to think about, when it gets difficult, what are you going to do? And having that plan for me was very helpful. And then also being able to just mentally focus when things got the hardest. And so, on K2, there's a very difficult section of climbing called the Black Pyramid, which is, nearly vertical rock that's often encased in ice and loose snow. And you're climbing it in crampons, wearing a down
Yeah.
suit, using bottled oxygen. And so it's incredibly difficult. And during those moments, I would think to myself, I am strong. And I would actually use those words in conjunction with my body's movement. So on the Black Pyramid, it's really like hand over hand climbing. And I would say I am, and then I would say the word strong, so that I just didn't want any negativity in my brain at all. I didn't want that little voice that was saying like, you can't do this,
Yes.
you're not
Yes.
going to
Yes.
be here, or this is hard. It's very easy for us as humans to fall into that
Yes.
kind of cadence of negativity. And it's so, so important to just erase that and to focus on the positive.
Beautifully said, and it's actually a key learning to everybody out there, and a lot of mountaineers has been a part of this, and this insight is something very special, I would say. And then to talk about K2 as well, I am so eager to know about all these in your journey so that people get to understand this as well. Uh, so when it struck your mind, okay, let's do K2, because doing Everest is another game, and then doing K2 is another game, I would say. So when did it just struck your mind, let's do a K2?
Yeah, it actually for me had happened probably 5 years prior. There was just this little thought like in the back of my head, like, wow, if I could summit K2, like that is really like legit. You know, K2 is often called the climber's mountain.
Yes.
And I just, I just kept it in the back of my brain. And at that point I knew I wasn't ready. I had a lot of work to do to prepare mentally and just skill wise. But I kept it back there and I kept it a secret because
Okay.
people like in my circle of climbing friends, they will often talk about climbing Everest or other Himalayan peaks. And if anyone would mention K2, it was sort of like, whoa, what? Like, that's just crazy. Why would, like, everybody dies who goes there? And so I really kept it to myself. And I kept just so quietly, like, taking one more step to get ready, evaluating my skills and starting to work towards doing what I needed to do to prepare skill wise as well as just experience wise. So I climbed a lot in the Himalaya, I climbed a lot in Seattle, just to be as prepared as I could possibly be. And then in
Beautiful.
2000, I had hoped to climb in 2017, but that unfortunately fell apart. So in 2018, it all came together. And when I think, at every mountain I've climbed, I think there's some sort of feeling that I have about that mountain when I look back. And, for K2, it to me is just gratitude. Very few people
Yes.
summit that peak on the first attempt. And I'm grateful that happened. I'm grateful to have a strong team, that the weather, just so many things had to come together perfectly for that to happen.
Yes, yes, exactly. And then we will talk about Everest and this picture right now. And we will also get people know how hard it is to summit an 8,000ers, and a big long expression like these can put us into, and what scenarios we go through. So this picture.
Yeah, so that's the summit of Mount Everest. So that was May 19th, 2016. And I that was the first Himalayan peak that I had summited, the first 8,000-meter peak that I had summited. I had attempted another one, and because of avalanches, didn't make it to the top. And so, my goals for Everest, I didn't necessarily, like, I wanted to summit, but I also was like, I'm just going to give it as much as I can. I had just completed my last surgery for cancer 3 months before I left for Nepal,
Oh
or
my
sorry, 3
God.
weeks before I left for Nepal. So I was really testing what my body could do. And I was grateful. Every step I took higher, I just grew with gratitude because I felt like my body had been through so much in the previous year. So in that moment, I was thankful for everyone that had gotten me that far. I was grateful to my doctors, to my friends, to like my coach, everyone who had given me, like, random people I would meet while I was training who would like hug me and tell me that I was strong. Like, just so many things, so many people I felt like had like gotten me to the point of being on the top of that mountain.
So how was the feeling on the top of the world?
So there was that sense of gratitude. So many people, I think, feel like, you climb any mountain and there's this just instant euphoria and this instant shift in your life or your understanding. And I've never found that to be true. I find that the learning for me comes later.
Okay.
So I stood there and I also had a checklist in my mind of what I needed to do because I'm still thinking about the descent. And so for me, I was going to pay gratitude to the mountain, to everyone that had gotten me there. I needed to change my oxygen. I needed to check my gear to make sure I was ready to safely descend. Took some photos, and I was probably there 20 minutes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, yes. And then your story actually made me think of all these aspects on the mountain, and it's something very very special to you. It have been a very special moment to you as well. So the next picture.
Oh, I can't see that one. Oh, the
Oh,
Emmy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy situation. Um, I was happy just to be ready to climb Everest. I was happy that things came together for me health wise to do that, and our team had actually um, had created this project to record our climb uh, with virtual reality cameras. So at the time in 2016, that meant that we made this like sphere of GoPros, and we and I was there to climb. I was not a part of the production of anything.
Okay.
But it was such a huge feat for the people who were actually filming, and we didn't know what was going to come of it. I think at the time I sort of thought, well, it's cool video to have. It's cool to have this, my climb chronicled in this way. But it ended up that Sports Illustrated actually bought that footage and turned it into a virtual reality um, documentary about our climb. It's called Capturing Everest, and it was just a really fun, like 6 months for me to work on the production of that documentary, and with the team. For me, it kind of meant that our climb continued after we were off the mountain. Most
Yeah.
of us Seattle, and so we got to still like climb together and collaborate and work on everything we needed to do to get Capturing Everest ready to be released. And never in the in the back of my mind did I think it would like that I would be involved in an Emmy in my life. So it was just a really special treat to have that and to do it with the team that I did, because we're all super tight and just really close as climbers and as friends.
Beautiful, beautiful. So Amy is in your list right now. Dreams do what even that you have never dreamt about has come true in your
Yeah,
life, I
and
would
that's the
say.
crazy thing about dreaming. I think sometimes, what the universe has ready for us is bigger than what we can even imagine. Like when I was a little girl, if someone said, "Oh, you're going to get an Emmy one day," I'd be like, "How is that possible?"
Yes, I get it, I get it. So the next picture is
Oh, yeah. So that was actually in Salt Lake City in the US, speaking to a group of girls actually at their school. And, to me, I've had a lot of great success in the mountains. I've learned so much. I feel like every mountain has something to teach me. And mountaineering and mountaineers can be accused of, sort of a selfish endeavor. And so for me, it's important to take what I've learned and what mountains have taught me and to share that with other people. And so, to me, it's all about teamwork, trusting the people that are with you, knowing that literally, like, I have your back and vice versa. And some of the things that I have learned in the mountains are just about building my confidence and knowing that nobody gets to tell me what I'm capable of except for me. And I think we, especially as women, very quickly let other people define what we're capable of. And I've learned kind of the hard way that only I get to do that now.
beautiful. So you shared your stories as well
Yes.
through speaking and all these. Yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I
Really
think
fun.
I think we have completed our photo sessions. Maybe just 4 photos, but it means a lot to you, I guess, and also a lot of story that has come across in your life. So thanks for being a part of the photo session. And right now, I want to talk about few other aspects of your journey. So climbing an 8,000 doors, as we spoke, it challenges in your physical and mental capabilities. So with regards to funding as well, I think many people here in India have this question of doing an 8,000ers, but for funding, it's another different level of. It's like climbing the mountain itself, they say. So how did this funding come into picture, and how you could pull off such a huge amount of climbing, like $60,000 and
Yeah.
$70,000?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So when I decided to climb Everest, I had to mortgage my house.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's how I did it. Like I'm a, normal, like I didn't have $60,000 just sitting in my bank account. So and I remember calling, literally I called my bank and I was like, I'd like to borrow $60,000 to climb Mount Everest. That was what I said because I thought there was no way they would give me money for that. And I just wanted it to be out front, like from the beginning, that that's what I wanted to do. And I really thought they were just going to hang up on us, be like, sorry, we don't do that. But it was really fantastic. It turned into a really, I had banked. So First Tech is my bank, and I had banked with them for a long time and ended up like speaking for their team with their team and kind of sharing my story and how important that interaction was to me that day, because it allowed me to accomplish my dream. And literally, if I hadn't gotten that loan, I wouldn't be able to do it. So I'm super thankful for that.
Yes, it's actually a big step, I would say, and also a life-changing decision for you. So it's not a small thing of mortgaging our house, and people will be like from outside. I knew how people think. They just do mountaineering, and there are a lot of talks here. The sport actually needs a lot of recognition, but that's not happening. And people are like, why do you spend like $60,000 to climb a mountain, and what it is going to give you in return, and all those. But it's personal experience for everybody out there, and this was goes behind the scenes of climbing a mountain. You just heard the story of climbing Everest from Lisa Thompson, and she also did another 8,000ers, which is K2, the second highest peak, and it also demands a lot of money. So this is how they pull off and work on their dreams, I would say. And thanks a lot for sharing the honest
Yeah.
story of this.
And I would say I didn't regret it. It was hard. It was very scary at the time. It was not an insignificant decision for me to make to do that. But I've gained so much personally that I don't regret it at all.
Awesome. Okay, so you spoke about something like mountains have taught you to be strong, to be self-confident, and in all these aspects. So apart from this, what it has taught you personally, because mountaineering, I think, is something which opens up ourselves, is what a lot of people have shared. So what is that few things that mountains have taught you?
Yeah, I think you touched on the biggest ones, which are, just building my confidence. When I started climbing, I had no idea what I was doing. And, I've learned now that I'm capable of accomplishing, and we all are capable of accomplishing incredible things when we set our minds to that. I think I have also gained an appreciation, sort of to take that one level deeper. I've gained a greater appreciation for what my body and my mind are capable of. So yes, I'm more confident, but especially as women, I think we often, discredit what we're capable of physically. We're not always comfortable being strong, especially in, a difficult environment like an 8,000-meter peak. And I've learned to be just so, so thankful for, it doesn't mean I don't look in the mirror sometimes and think, oh, I shouldn't have that second piece of pizza last night. But I also, look at my body and think, wow, like I am strong and I am capable of, this body, this mind has gotten me to some amazing places and accomplished some incredible things.
Beautiful. So that's what mountains have taught you, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we spoke about in the aspect of cancer, and you did your surgery 3 months before the Everest climb. So how was that phase of cancer, and can you just share to our audience like what was your situation, and how did you also overcome it? And I knew a lot of things would have gone through your mind, and people around you would have spoke. So it's a big task to overcome it, and that to climb one of the world's highest peak.
Yeah, so I learned that I had breast cancer just by having a routine mammogram one day. So as this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, um, you
Yeah.
know, like I can't overstate how important that is. I wouldn't have known if I didn't have that routine test. Um, and for me, that meant actually having a mastectomy, which was a very difficult, emotionally thing to grapple with, very difficult physically on my body. um, I think there are phases that people go to when, whether it's hearing the news that you or someone you love has cancer, or being like even COVID, like the
Hmm.
anything that happens to you that's so disruptive and unexpected that you don't feel, you have not thought about, you have not prepared for how to deal with that sort of crisis in your life. um, I think we naturally go through phases of first, just denial that this is actually happening. And then, to me, I think the quicker we can move to acceptance, and then beyond that to move what we can do about this situation, like accepting it as your new reality. So I had cancer. I could not change that. And I had to focus my mind not on, feeling sorry for myself or thinking about how unfair it was, but thinking instead on how I was going to beat cancer and how I was going to, surround myself with people who were positive, who were on my team, on my Beat Cancer team with me, who could be there for me and be stronger than me on, the days and the times when I wasn't, and I needed someone to pick me up. So you learn a lot about yourself and about the people around you when you're presented with that sort of a challenge. And it's not that different from climbing in terms of how we deal with challenges. I think you figure out what someone is truly made out of, who they really are at their core when you're in a challenging situation.
Yes, yes. I think it's something very special moment, and there are a lot of people who are right now also struggling in these aspect, and I
Yeah.
think it would be an eye opener for them, and also an inspiration to look after you and see how people do this. It's a very important piece of information out there. Thank you. And then, so we were very serious in some point right now, so I'm going to take it a little light. Can
Okay.
you go for a rapid fire?
Sure. Let's
Shoot,
hear it.
check, 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 check. Let's shoot this.
Okay.
Okay. What's your memorable trip?
Nepal.
Okay. One worst moment that happened in the mountain. You can just quote it in a
Losing
sentence.
my crampon.
Oh my God. Your inspiration in mountaineering.
Melissa Arnott.
Okay. Yes. Who's your favorite sportsman?
Oh, um, Aaron Rodgers. He was a football
Sorry?
player in the U.S.
Football player.
Aaron
Okay.
Rodgers, football player in the U.S.
Okay. Favorite sports women?
I would say Melissa Arnott still. I consider
Okay, for me
Melissa.
it's you.
What?
For me it's you. Okay. Who's your favorite movie star?
Matthew McConaughey.
Beautiful. I like his movie, and uh, he actually survived cancer, right? In a movie called Dallas
Yeah,
The
he
House of
did.
Love.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. One project you wanted to do in the future with regards to mountaineering?
Oh, so I've started a company to train mountaineers called Alpine Athletics, and I would love to take the idea of virtual reality and use that to train mountaineers. So many of the people that I coach live in very urban areas and they don't have access to the mountains. And one of the really, there are a lot of really important skills that you need to be able to safely climb any mountain. whether it's, Mount Rainier or it's Mount Everest. And so I would really love to take this virtual reality technology and employ that in a way that allows an aspiring climber to gain the skills that they need, whether it's rappelling or using a fixed rope, or ascending or descending unstable terrain. So that's like churning around in my head a little bit, but I haven't gotten that to the point of, it hasn't gotten out of my head into something more tangible yet.
Okay, so that's the project that you wanted to do in the future.
Yes, yes.
Okay. With regards to any climbs?
I would love to climb Ama Dablam, which is a beautiful peak in Nepal that sort of resembles a woman with her arms out.
Yeah.
So that's on my list. It's just aesthetically a really beautiful climb. And then I have just 2 mountains left to finish the 7 summits. There's actually 8 because we can't decide what a continent is. But I was hoping to do that this year. Of course, travel restrictions, it's not going to happen. So that's still on my list of things to do.
Okay, beautiful, and all the best for the project as well.
Yes.
Okay. One book that you would suggest mountaineers to read?
My favorite mountaineering book really is Touching the Void. It has a happy ending, but it's very, very intense. Have you read it? Yes.
Yes. I actually seen the movie, I guess.
Yeah, it's a really good doc. It's not actually a documentary, but the way that they replay the scenes, I think, is really well done. Yeah, that's my favorite mountaineering book.
Okay. What is your favorite mountaineering documentary?
I like the K2 documentary about the 2008 tragedy that happened. I think that's another really well done in terms of how they interviewed people and how they layered in those interviews, and film that was taken with actual, reenactments. I thought it was really well done.
Yes, and I have a question right now. If we see all these documentaries, it puts us through an emotional state where anything can happen, right? So when we go climbing, these things all come to our minds, like this has happened here, that has happened. Has that impacted your climb?
For sure it has. And I think part of being a well-prepared climber is to understand what those risks are and to know what can happen and to have a plan if they do happen. So what if you run out of oxygen while you're climbing Mount Everest? What if you drop a glove? What are you going to do? But I also think there's a really fine balance between knowing what can happen, being aware of it, and not letting it stifle you. So I think some people can, just get really stuck in all the negative, terrible things that could happen. And my view is that it's important to have an awareness of them, but be able to still continue moving forward with that awareness and not let it get you stuck.
Got it. Okay. So right now there is I give you few words, so you must tell in a sentence what it means to you. Okay.
Okay.
It also comes under
This is
rapid
fun.
fire. So, okay. Life.
Life to me is about getting the most that I personally can out of it, that I'm capable of, and then sharing that with other people.
Dreams.
Dreams are something that we can't have too many of, and they can't be too big.
Adventure.
Again, can't have too much of it. And I think it's
Okay.
what, we have lives that, we have jobs and we have like a routine at home, and adventure, I think, is what gives us like just a little bit of spice.
Okay. Icing on the cake.
Yes, exactly right.
Okay. Family.
Family to me is more than just my biological family. To me, it's anyone that loves and supports me for who I am.
Friends.
I would the same about friends. People that
Okay.
know you, know who you truly, truly are, and love and support you anyway.
Yes. Success.
Success is not always about being on top of a mountain. There's many mountains I've climbed that I didn't summit, and that can be frustrating and sad, but Success, though, is when you take a moment to look back and think about what you learned. And maybe it's just that, hey, I should have eaten more for breakfast that day because I just didn't have enough calories to get me to the top and back.
Yeah,
Maybe,
yeah.
I need to focus on being a little more mentally prepared for whatever comes, or maybe there's a certain skill that I need to work on in order to be able to safely climb that particular mountain. So, I think it's
Beautifully
really
said.
important for me that success doesn't mean it's the summit. It can be so many other things.
Yeah, it actually you quoted a wonderful thing here. There is a learning to all the failures that happen, so that is also a success, is what you are
It
trying to
is,
say, right?
yeah. And I really believe that challenges are not meant to prevent our success. I think we often see them that way. To me, they're just part of the process. And in order to turn that challenge into something meaningful, I have to take the time to look at it in a way that teaches me something.
Super. So your rapid fire is done,
Thank
and you are
you.
very, very quick. Yeah, you are very, very quick. Okay, so a couple of questions, and I have a icing on the cake on my episode. So
Okay.
let's get pumped up right now. Okay. To start off with, can you give few career guidance with regards to the sport of mountaineering? If a common people sees this interview, or like they come across mountaineering as a sport, so what do they do to structure a career in mountaineering?
Yeah, I think the first thing is to start small. Like most people don't say they're going to climb Everest on day one of their interest in mountaineering. So pick small goals for
Okay.
yourself. And I really can't overemphasize either how important it is to focus on training. I've seen so many people, and this is what I get to do through Alpine Athletics. I get to help people, train mentally and physically for whatever their mountain goal is. And a lot of people overlook that. A lot of people think, well, I go to the gym 5 days a week, and so I'm going to go climb, a 10,000-meter
Mm.
mountain, or 10,000 foot mountain. And there's just so much more to it than that. There's so much more to it in terms of endurance, in terms of having the right kind of strength. So really focus on that and take it seriously. I like to say that it is going to be hard when you're preparing to climb a big mountain, and you get to pick if it's hard now while I'm training or if it's hard when I'm on the mountain. And if you're smart, it's hard now as I'm preparing, and when I get to the mountain, I have everything that I need, and I'm actually enjoying it, which is sort of the point, right? That we're
Yeah.
enjoying our time in the mountains.
Yes, okay. So you say start with small goals and start achieving them, and then slowly scale up to big mountains and
Yeah.
train the right way and train
Yeah.
smart. Okay,
Yes, absolutely.
okay. To rate your life from 1 to 10, how much should you rate your life with regards to the satisfaction level of yours?
Like 15.
15. Sorry, my list just had 10. Okay, it's exceeding expectation, and I get it. You're
Yeah.
so grateful for the life you have. That's nice to hear, and hopefully it reaches 20, 30, and 50 in the
Yes,
future.
I like that goal. Why stop at
Yes,
50?
okay. Okay, so whom do you want to thank for the journey that you have had till date?
Oh, wow. So that's a big question. There are so many people who mentored me when I was just starting out. Vern Tejas is one of them, who's a mountain guide in the US, who, was there for a lot of my first climbs when I was just like trying to figure out what the heck I was doing.
Yes,
Um, Garrett Madison is also someone that I spent a lot of time with in the mountains, who I hugely respect for his leadership and decision making, and just expedition leadership style. And, I also thank people who have doubted me. There have been a lot of people who, especially when I was preparing for K2, who said, like, you can't do that. Like, that's just crazy. And, I valued their feedback, especially if it came from someone that I loved and respected. But it also, that concern, or that thinking that I couldn't do it, just was fuel for that little bitty spark inside of me that thought I could.
Yes, yes. Awesome. So, what would you tell to people who are chasing their own dreams?
Keep chasing them. Like, don't ever get discouraged. And remember that even when there's a challenge that you didn't expect or some sort of roadblock, it is not meant to stop you from achieving your dream. It's meant to teach you something, to take you one step closer to it. I think a lot of people, set a big goal and something doesn't go right. Something, that they didn't plan happens, and we let that deter us. Look at those challenges as opportunities to grow and to learn something.
Yes, so just keep doing and keep
Yep.
chasing them.
Yep. Keep
Yeah,
chasing.
okay. So I think we have come to the end of the session. So this is my icing on the cake. We have a game show. I have
Oh
two
boy.
small games. So I will explain you the first one. It's called the 8 second rule. So
Okay.
in a span of 8 seconds, you got to quote three things that I mentioned. Okay?
So you mentioned chasing dreams.
No,
You,
yeah. For example, I say, what's in your house? The three things
oh,
that you see. What's in your house? So
okay.
I give you 8 seconds time, and then you got to quote them.
Got
Okay,
it.
the three
I'm
things.
ready.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Okay. What do you? Three things that you see when you see Chevy, your dog, right?
Oh, Chevy. I
Chevy,
see
yeah.
fur, lots of
Okay,
fur. I see a goofy smile, and I
okay.
see someone who wants to go play in the mountains with me.
Yeah, beautiful. In 7 seconds, you did it. Okay. Three things that you can't live without.
I can't live without fake eyelashes and lip gloss and a comfy pillow and warm clothes and a raincoat in Seattle.
Beautiful. So three things that comes to your mind when we say outdoors.
For me, it's just peace and tranquility and nature, which to me is absolutely perfect. And it's a chance also to just learn and expand who I am.
Yes, smashed it. You smashed
Yay!
it. Okay. The next game is putting me onto the task right now. So it's called the you and me game. So I guess what's in your mind.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
I
Good
give
luck.
you I give you two options. I have few questions that already I knew the answer, so I guess I'm going
Okay,
to score good. Okay, so I give you two options, and for example, bike ride or car drive. So bike ride would be option one, and car drive would be option two. So on a
okay,
count of three, I'll let my answer know, and you tell whether it matches it.
okay.
Got it?
I got it.
Okay. Mountains or beaches? Okay. Option one is mountains and option two is beaches.
That's
So
kind of
on
an
a
easy
count of
one.
three, two, and three, two, one. So first one, it's the mountains. Yeah, I told you, right? I knew the answer already. Okay, I'm going to put me into a tough spot as well. Okay, the second one is cats or dogs. Okay, which one
Oh,
would you
okay,
like the most? So I knew the answer, I guess. First option is cats and second option is dogs. Okay.
okay.
Okay. One, two, three. Two. Yeah, the second one is
Yay!
right. Okay.
You're a good
Okay. The
mind
third
reader.
one is I actually crafted few questions just to take 2 points at least. So
Okay,
I'm going to make it a little harder right now. Okay, are you a foodie or you aren't into a foodie kind of a person? Okay, first one is you
okay,
are a foodie. Second one is no, I'm not that extremely
okay,
foodie kind of a person. Okay,
okay.
okay, one second. I'm just looking at your eyes and trying to figure out. Okay. Three, two, one.
Ah,
So you are a foodie.
I do. I love food. That's the whole reason I climb mountains so I can eat whatever food I want.
Yeah, I actually guessed it when you said I ate the last piece of my pizza. I shouldn't have ate. So I would have guessed at that point. I was wrong. Okay. Would you? The fourth question is, would you go on a long bike ride or a car drive? Okay.
Okay.
Bike ride is option one. Car drive is option two.
Okay.
Three, two, one.
Bike
I cried,
ride.
yes, yeah, okay. That was nice. In four questions, I got three right. I think I
Well
would stop with
done.
this
Good
because I am
job.
on top right now. Yes, yes. Thank you, thank you. Thanks a lot. And I think we have come to the end of our Chasing Dreams episode. And today is actually 80th episode, and I'm so,
Hey,
so, so happy to.
congratulations.
Thank
That's
you, thank you,
fantastic.
thank you.
Happy to be a part of it.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thanks a lot. And also, thanks for coming onto our show and sharing your wonderful story. I think it would have been an inspiration to people out there to see what you do. And also, whatever happens and challenging situations you come across, you have smashed them and you have been climbing one hill on top of another. So I hope you all the best for your future and see you in lots more great heights.
Yes.
I
Thank
knew
you.
it. Everest is the limit, so more other heights to climb in your
Yes.
future. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, it's been a pleasure to be here. I'm glad that you're doing this Instagram Live. I think it's great for people to see.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Lisa, for joining.
Okay. Have a great Friday.
Yes, you too. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye bye.
Guys, thanks a lot for joining and watching this episode. I knew it's morning in India, so many people would have missed out. Please do watch it in my IGTV. And also, I have opened a separate page for Chasing Dream Show. Go to my profile and you will see the link in my bio. So you can click the Chasing Dreams page and then start seeing a lot of stories and the 80 episodes that I have covered till date. It will be in small bites, so I'm working on it, and please do go and support my page. Thank you, and bye bye. See you on season 9 with another exciting guest.